What is up, everybody? Welcome back to the show. Today we got a good one. So we got 3 Marshall amps, and we got a very typical one, which is the DSL100h, and we got the JVM 215C, and we got a JCM 600. And I know you guys seen this one on the channel before, and I thought it was probably a pretty good idea to go ahead and compare them to the other Marshalls, just to see where it kind of sits. The JCM 600 is basically a JTM, but it's just a second rendition of that. It is 60 watts. What else can I say about it? They all kick ass. I got an E906 on the V30 and a SM57 on the XXX. We're going to be running those two, and we're going to be switching between it using my amp selector, and we also have a precision drive that we'll use to cut on and turn on and just listen to it. All right, let's do this. All right, so I think the first thing I'm going to do here is I have all the EQs set at noon for it. I'm not going to go through the cleans and stuff. I'm not even worried about that right now. But I'm just keeping the EQs at noon for everything. I do have to push the gain a little bit on the JCM 600. It doesn't have as much gain as the other two. We're just going to see what they sound like, just throwing a riff out there. So first we're going to start off on the JCM 600, and let's go. Yeah, first impressions, what do y'all think? I don't know, like, they all kind of sit in an interesting different feels, I think. The JCM 600 is definitely more of a, wasn't built to be a high gain monster, where I think these two intended to be. This kind of came out around the JCM 900 stuff, and the JCM 900 was already doing that high gain stuff. So I don't think that was the ideal with this one, but it still can get up there with the gain, just not as saturated, I guess you can say. And the JVM, of course, that's going to be just a balls to the wall, and it's even a little more mid-scoop to sound to me. And the DSL100h is just kind of in the middle of those. It has the high gain stuff, but it's not super saturated. But it's actually a little throatier with the low end, and it also has, I think, a little more mids present there. So this is with all the EQ at noon. Next thing I'll do is I'll go ahead and turn on the boost, and we'll see how that plays on. I may have to turn down the drive on these amps, but let's just see where we sit. Okay. Let's go back to the JCM 600. Boost is on. Okay, let me see if I can do a riff here. Okay, now let's go over to the JVM, and of course with this setup there's going to be a fair amount of grounding issues, and the JVM is getting hit with it. So let's see what. Okay, let's do that same riff. Now let's go ahead and do the DSL100h. Same riff. Whoops. What the hell? Okay. That's kind of tough. Do I have a favorite? You know, I won't reveal that until the very end. I have an idea as to which one I like more. Just also know that the JVM's on the orange channel, which is my favorite channel on the JVM. It's not like super saturated to the point where it's just like inaudible to me personally. And the DSL just sits pretty good on lead 1. So, and there's no switch between an overdrive and an extra overdrive gain staging. So with leaving that there is just fine for what we're doing for this comparison. So let me see. I guess now let's go ahead and start dialing these in to get them to sound the best that they can in the room here. And then we'll just kind of talk about it after that. So should I leave? I think I should leave the overdrive on for the JCM 600, but for these two, I could probably leave it off. Maybe the DSL, but the JVM I don't think needs a overdrive in front of it. So let's go back over to JCM 600. All right, the overdrive is still on. Oops. Let's mess with it. A little more bass. Let's actually cut the attack a little bit. Let's go ahead, add some more treble, cut the mids. Probably add some more bass by dropping the attack. There we go. Add a little more gain to it. Well, let me show you guys what it sounds like without the overdrive and pushing the gain all the way up, okay? Gain's all the way up now. And that's a very JCM 800 kind of sound, for sure. It's definitely good enough for doing some Slayer riffs, for sure. I was worried if I was going to get that pinch harmonic. It didn't really work out too well. That's okay. So let's bring the gain back a little bit, turn the overdrive back on, and hear it again. I think right there is probably as best as it's going to get. So let's move on to the next one, dial that in, and then dial the other one, and then we'll go back and forth through the amps and just see which one stands out to you guys. Let's do it. So we're going to the JVM. Oh, man, that's pretty bad. Oh, I'll just have to edit that out. Okay, so, I mean, that right there sounds killer. So, that's the resonance, presence, and the treble, middle, and bass all at noon. And that comes out really killer, man. Well, let's mess with it some. Some more presence. Drop the mids. Boost the mids. I'm dropping the level down a little bit because it looks like it's clipping. That is killer. And that buzzing doesn't happen whenever, you know, I don't have all this stuff hooked up. So it makes sense that it is. There's not much else I want to do to that one. All right, let's go to the DSL. That was pretty annoying. Anyways, here's the DSL. Let's see what that sounds like stock. All EQs at noon. That sounds pretty awesome too. It's got that thickness behind it, just a little bit of that sag to give it that Marshall feel, and it's pleasant actually. It just kind of makes the chords just kind of thicken out, you know. So. I like it, but we will dial it out. So that's the only thing that I can think of that I would kind of work with. I enjoy doing it that way. I would leave it just like this if I was playing it. But let's go ahead and mess with it. Let's give it a little more gain. See what that sounds like. Go to about 230. Yeah, I like that. Let's drop the bass a little bit. Maybe it's the resonance. Drop the resonance some. Bring the bass back in. Bring in a little bit of treble. Mess with the mids. Mess with the presence. Need to bring the mids back in. Bring the presence back again. Let's bring the middle up some more than halfway. And to tell you the truth, I really do like it with the overdrive too. I personally don't need it, but a lot of people would play it this way. So with the overdrive on, and at this point I would definitely bring in some more bass. It's about 3 o'clock. I would even turn the gain down just back a little bit. There we go. All right, I think that's a sweet spot. I mean, just for this comparison for everybody else, because everybody likes the sound of an overdrive on it, I will stick with it for this comparison. So now, let's go back to the 600, switch over to the JVM, turn the overdrive off for the JVM, and then go back to DSL with the boost on and off actually. So let's go back to the 600. Here you go. This is what we dialed in. All right, let's go to JVM. turn off the overdrive. All right, let's hear what it sounds like. All right, now the DSL with the overdrive on first, and then we'll turn it off. Damn. I think I need to turn the presence back just a tad here. It's a little cutting. There we go. Okay, now let's turn it off. Just for the stuff that I play, I really enjoy it without the overdrive. And now if I was going to do a lead, I would definitely turn it on to tighten it up, give it a little bit of boost, and do it. I think this amp is perfect for that kind of stuff. Let's just do a really quick run through. I'll just do like some chugging riffs and then some Swedish stuff, just really quick, so we can get a quick reference. So that's on JCM 600. Oops, be nice if I turned it on. Alright, JVM, turn the overdrive off. And then, just for you guys out there, I turned on overdrive for JVM. DSL with the overdrive on. other camera died. So that's the DSL with it. I guess I'll just go ahead and end the video, like, because I'm pretty much done anyways. What do I think about this? I think this definitely has more of that JCM 800 clink to it. There's this top end that it's almost like Telecaster like, you know? The JVM is just balls to the wall, but it does have this mid scoop kind of thing, and it does have the really low end too. I just think the DSL100h, maybe because it's a 100 watt and this is a 50 watt, that the DSL has just a throatier kind of punch. It's like it doesn't have as much low mids. It just has the really low register stuff. And I think it's just kind of a great all-around kind of amp. What is my favorite? The DSL100h. Ooh, now some of you may not agree with me on that, but I think if I had the 100 watt JVM, I'd probably lean a little bit more towards that because it's just so versatile. But as far as just ease and just popping the sound, SD1 on top of this, it's got plenty of low end to push whenever you hit the overdrive on, or you can do without just fine. I think I just would go for DSL100h. Anyways, DMD out. Hope you enjoyed it. Talk to you next time.